welcome to the future of technology, which I think it's fair to say has been tricky to come by tonight. If you're still here at 26 minutes past 8, then you have more patience than the most saintly of saints. Hello, my name is Paul Carenza. This is episode 2 of Paul Carenza's Lockdown Live. After 2 failed attempts, the problem is YouTube is made for people who are 20 and have brains that work as such. Now, I'm 41 and technology has not been my friend for, at least 27 minutes now. So we've got Vindy49 says, am I in the right queue? Yes, it should be here. Let's give that a go. Yay, Mark Warburton and Kirsty Pugh. Good evening to you. Thank you. And Mark Warburton, bless him, he's been texting me saying, you've got to push the button, do the pushy button thing. So thank you for your patience. Part of the issue has been, so YouTube, they allow you to do this thing where you can say, this will be live here on this page, as you've seen. And you were on that page saying, chatty, oh, hello. But when you want to start the live thing, it takes you to a different page. And that's no good. I don't want the different page. I want the page that people have been queuing up for the thing for. So I was then live on a different page, and then I realised that no one was on that page. You're on the first page. And by that point, I realised I was speaking into the void. And I think just as I kind of gave up, which you should never do, but I sort of thought, no one's here because they're all elsewhere. There's no way of getting them here. And then as I clicked hang up, my wife said, oh no, people are now finding you. And so it was too late. So basically, you may have seen up to 2 previous versions, which I will delete at some juncture as soon as I possibly can, which is just me floundering about going, I think there's no one there. But now there are, because Kirsty Pugh's here and Mark Warburton's here. Richard Goff says, great to see you, smiley face. Thank you. So obviously, last time we tried Facebook Live. This time we're on YouTube Live. Now, see if you can work out which is my favourite suddenly. Indeed. So Facebook Live worked well last time. YouTube Live might be the future, though. I would be keen to know your thoughts as to which your favourite was. Kirsty said 28 people was on. Sarah McCarthy, I've got you. Hello to you folks. If you would like to be in the opening song, which we're going to still try and do, if you were here last time, you'll know what the opening song is. It's personalised. Your names get to feature in it. It's ambitious, but I'm still going to try it in a few minutes' time, but you need to be in the chat. Or you need to have chatted something to be in the personalised song. So make sure you do that. I'm going to plug the earphones in for copyright reasons. My wife is texting me saying she's having a great time at the local nightclub and really quiet. There's no one else out clubbing at the minute. No, she's in the next room saying that it's working. So that's nice. You may wonder why it is that I have a jacket that I'm wearing in this sort of fashion. Well, I'll tell you why. We've had a lovely meal tonight. We've had fish pie. There you go. And it says here, remove sleeve. There you go. Remove sleeve. So I've done that bit. And film lid. So there you go. I just thought I'd film the lid for a little while. There we go. So done what it says anyway. Remove sleeve and film the lid. After that, it says halfway through, you've got to stir it and then, recover and take some recovery. As you can imagine, I'm used to recovering from things all over the shop here. So messages here, it's working, but the group I was on is not here. Yeah, so I think there's a couple of different YouTube-y stream things, and one stream was where people were, another stream was where I ended up being, which obviously is not the stream I want to be in. I want to be where the people are. I don't want to be there on my own little party talking to myself. I've had gigs like that. It's weird. But we've now tried it a third time in this place where people are. Peter Humphrey Cooper says, Midwife Kirsty from Stevenage here. Hello, Midwife Kirsty. Thank you for your midwifery. Hope it's all going well. Hope you're all doing well wherever you are, and hope you're doing okay. And if you're not okay, then I hope you continue to be more than okay as the days go by. Get well soon, basically, if that's what you need to hear. Deborah Livingston, what do plainclothes officers wear on their day off? It's a good question. You're welcome to provide your own jokes as we go here tonight. So if you haven't been here on Lockdown Live before, we might need a new name from Lockdown Live, because a lot of other people are calling their shows Lockdown Live. So that may be something we need to look at for not for copyright reasons, but just confusion reasons. We'll see how we go on that. As ever, we have laughter. That may come up later on. It might not. we've got props as well. I've got this. I've got a little clockety clock here. I'm just going to kind of roll this over there. Ooh, dear. No one's going to... Yeah, it goes to show you can't roll the clock back, can you? That was one thing. We've got magic. Now, look at this. Right, you'll like this. Or you won't. Now, these are both white. That's good, isn't it? You turn them over, and they're both black. You turn one over, one's white and one's black. Now you turn them both over, and one's black and one's white. And that is pretty good until one becomes green, and one becomes blue, and one becomes black, and one becomes white. But then you do this again, and now you've got a yellow, and a green, and a blue, and a red. And the white one and the black one, not to be seen. So there you go. We've got a whole variety show for you here. We've got a game coming up. That's exciting. In fact, we should look at the schedule, which is, of course, now gloriously out of date because obviously the hellos, well, they've been and gone. It's now 8:32. The opening song we've still not done yet. We will try and do this very shortly. A choice of anecdotes as well, and a TV review. We might get through. We'll do like a minute on each of these, all right? I suppose, first of all, we should do the opening song, shouldn't we? Let's see if we can do this. Right now, the plan behind the opening song, if you weren't here last time, is it's based on Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire, okay? So let's have a little look at here. Now, what you'll need to do for this is, you don't have to, right? If you don't want to partake, you just basically, you'll need a second tab of YouTube, right? Now, you can either have it on your same browser. That's an okay thing to do. Or you could have it on a different device. That's another thing you could do. Or don't have it on anything if that's too technically complicated. And if I'm honest, technical complications are things that we don't really want to dwell on tonight. Then just go with it and we'll have a bit of fun, right? So it's Billy Joel. It's We Didn't Start the Fire, the karaoke version. Now, I'm going to put the link for this in the YouTube chat, okay? Or you can Google it yourself. It's called, it's the one that's got 234,000 views. It's called by Karaoke on Vivo, all right? And the link is going to be in your chat any moment, right? So here we go, right? Boom. So, right, there you go. That's the link. It's in the chat now. And if you want to, now firstly, click play on it if you've got the link, and then you get past the advert. Okay, that's what you need to do first of all. So get past the advert and then get it onto 000. We Didn't Start the Fire, karaoke, Billy Joel, We Didn't Start the Fire. Get it onto 000. You might have had to go past the adverts. I had one for Masterclass with Neil Gaiman. That was very nice. And then when I do the countdown from 5, I want you to click play on Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire karaoke. Okay. It's the one that lasts 4 minutes and 35 seconds. And so the idea is that backing track plays in the background. If you're wondering why we're doing this, it's simply because for copyright reasons, I can't play any pre-recorded music, but you can listen to it, and I can listen to it in my earpiece if we all start it at the same time, which we will do in 5, 4, 3, get ready to start it, 2, 1, go. Okay, here we go. KaraokeCloud.com is about to present We Didn't Start the Fire in the style of Billy Joel. Okay, you should be now on about 9-10 seconds. Okay, here we go. Right, and your names will appear if you've commented so far, and if you haven't commented so far, now is your chance. Okay, here we go. Ready? This is your last lead in. Right, comment in the chats and your name may appear. Here we go. Right, ready, folks? Richard Goff, Vindy Warp, Kirsty Pugh, Kirsty Pugh, Dan Bellamy, Peter Humphrey Cooper, Sarah McCarthy, Deborah Livingstone, Chloe Hill, Andrew Deacon, Mark Warburton, again, middle 8. If you can't hear any music, there's free dance for you there. Okay, here we go. Andrew Deacon, Chloe Hill, Sarah McCarthy, Kirsty Pugh, Deborah Livingstone, Andrew Faraday, Ryan Cooper, Debbie Melvin, Vindy 49, Andrew. Oh, that's it. It's the end of the chat. That's it. So I'm sorry. Well, the song stops there. That was. It's not a long song. The aim is to get enough people watching this that we get through all 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Until that point, we've not quite made it. So. Hi, Debbie. Hello. Hi, Debbie Melvin. That's nice. And, Ryan Cooper says, try and include my son, Joe V. Cooper. Well, I've just seen it now. I've finished the song. I mean, that's the story of this through and through, really, isn't it? But moving on, right, so we need to have The TV review, right? So we've been watching a lot of telly. We were watching a bit of Downton Abbey. That was a favourite. Then we saw Downton Crabby, which is like Downton Abbey, except instead of going upstairs, downstairs, they mostly move sideways. That's been fun. Anyone see The Big Night In? Anyone? Did you see a bit of that? The old BBC Comic Relief meets Children in Need thing. We're working our way through it slowly. Nice surprise to see Miranda Hart regrouping Miranda for the very opening sketch there. That was rather nice. But yeah, did you see that? I would love to know. What else we've been watching? If I'm honest, the news we've been largely avoiding. I don't really, especially after 7 o'clock, you don't want to be doing it. Here's what I recommend. If you want to watch the news, right, go back to the beginning. We decided to watch the box set of the news, but from the start, because we didn't catch the early years. So we're going back to the 1920s and just wondering, don't tell us what happens, no spoilers or anything. We're wondering if the news gets any less racist. That would be quite interesting to see as we go. So what else have we got on the show? Oh, a choice of anecdotes. Right. So I would love to know now. You have a choice of anecdotes. You can have now. Last week the choice was between the break-in story or when I met Bond. Okay. So this is your choice now. Your chance to post in the comments. We've had the break-in. So you can have the Bond anecdote, when I met Bond, or you can have when Siri ruined a news presenting gig that I had. Okay, news presenting on the radio, and Siri ended us up in a little bit of trouble. So you want Bond or Siri? That's what you need to comment, Bond or Siri, and you will have an anecdote of your choosing to follow. So what have we got here? Chloe Hill says, how's the tablecloth? It's actually doing all right. You know what? We've not even touched it this week, and yet it's just going of its own accord. So we had a bit of trouble when my daughter wrote this particular thing. Boom, hello. But yeah, after the fourth letter, we realised that permanent marker was going through the bit of paper onto the tablecloth, causing the word hell to be emblazoned on the table for the last few terms. Dan Bellamy says, have you had a haircut? Yes, I have. Who else has had a haircut this week? I imagine a few of us have. The bowls come out, don't they? That's right. The scissors, the bowls, my wife, the patio, a grin on her face. And it went okay. It went all right. Thank you for asking, Dan. And the messages are coming in now. We've got, Bond. So 3-1 for Bond. Break-in again. No, Andrew, we cannot have break-in again. Right, we've got... I think Siri is just winning, actually. Yep, I'm afraid Bond is going to have to be carried over for another week. We are going to have the Siri story. Right, so I've done the occasional bit of stand-in cover presenting on local radio, BBC Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey. The 6 o'clock in the morning, so it's 6 till 9 on a Sunday morning. That's the slot you get, right? Sunday breakfast. And from 7 a.m, the newsreader comes into work, but for 6 a.m, the newsreader will not get up for Sussex and Surrey at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Doesn't happen. So the presenter, which is on this occasion was me, has to do the news. 6 a.m, the very first thing people hear, you take over from Radio 5 Live, who cover it through the night, and then you click go, and as you can imagine, the technological efforts we've had to get online tonight, that sort of thing is very similar in local radio. And if you hit the time, you get it bang on, 6 o'clock, marvellous. Lots of things to think about. And this is about 6 months ago now, and the very first news story happened to be about Syria, which had been in the news a fair amount, as you can imagine, on and off. And my phone, I'd turned onto silent, but I'd not turned it onto airplane mode. Now, that was my big mistake, because when I said Syria, my phone thought I said, hey Siri. And as you can imagine, yeah, that's exactly what happened. As a good demonstration, thanks, that's exactly what happened. It's a good demonstration as to why you ruined my news presenting gig on BBC local radio. So I had to swiftly dismiss Siri from the desk. It was very audible on air, and try and carry on with the next part of the news story. The news that ended with me referring to BBC Radio Surrey, and my phone once again thought I'd said Siri, and up it piped again. Didn't do it that time. It's learning. So 2 times on that one particular 3-minute news broadcast that Siri thought she had a co-presenting gig after all of this time. Dan Belly, I mentioned it earlier, but how about the title Not Going Out at All? Lee Mack owns the rights to Not Going Out. I could not touch it. Not going to happen. Not on my watch. So now it's time for a short interval for snacks. You may have had your snacks already. Hope you've enjoyed them. Good. Now it's time for a phone call. If you have my phone number and would like to phone me, then come and get through onto the Lockdown Live, and you'd be welcome to have a little chat with myself on air. If you call this on air, I think you probably do. And we'll see if anyone phones, apart from Siri, who's obviously already done their bit. So if you don't have my phone number, apologies. This bit is not for you, because I should not be giving out the phone number completely willy-nilly to his friends. But if you have my phone number and would like to be on air and even play a game, yes, a real game, then you can call. Now's the time, and we'll see. I know there's about a 30-second delay between me saying this and you hearing this, so that could be why it's not ringing, or because no one wants to ring. There's every chance. If you're seeing this long gap and you're thinking no one's calling in, it's probably because of the very long delay. So you can phone if you'd like to. Oh, Peter Humphrey Cooper, we've polished off the mini eggs. We've got a couple in the cupboard. Maybe we'll have that for our snack time later. It's a Bond rollover for next week. You're quite right. That is when we will deal with such things there. Well, no one wants to do the phone in this week, or you're massively delayed on the thing, which is fine. We've got the Q&A come up. Get your thinking of your questions for the old Q&A. That will be with us shortly. And we're going to look at a couple of books as well. And before we go as well, we've got the walkie-talkies, the surprising history behind the walkie-talkie, which is just sitting over here. In fact, I'm going to go and get the walkie-talkie now, right? Kirsty Pugh's not got your number. Jess Gibson. Hello to you, Jess Gibson. Hello to you, sir. Hello.
Oh, hello. I'm watching you on delay.
Yeah. You may need to mute the device you're watching it on, because
oh my word.
Otherwise there's going to be a massive delay otherwise, and that would be terrible.
Okay.
How are you, Jess Gibson?
Very well, sir. Very well. I think. Hang on a second. Oh, there we go. I've just had my voice in tone. I feel like this is like Inception. It's like a clip within a YouTube clip within a YouTube clip. How about that?
It is almost exactly like Inception, except without the quality and awards. But otherwise, it's exactly like Inception. How are you? How is your household? Bearing in mind this is all publicly consumed information, how are things going?
Well, I'm naked right now.
Now, if you didn't hear what he's what's the word? I was going to say inconsolable. He's very consolable. That's the problem. But clothes aside, which clearly you have opted for tonight, how are things with you and yours?
I am pretty clothed. I just thought I'd try and make the phone call not too dull while watching this on delay on one TV.
Can I? This is not Babe Station. Different number.
I can tell that.
Oh.
Who is that in the picture behind you, by the way?
Who's this guy? This guy here.
The guy behind you, the picture behind you. I think a few people have commented. I don't know if it's.
Basically, I'm starting a Proclaimers tribute act. One of us in 3D, one of us in 2D, and that's the thing. There you go. So we would walk 500 miles for any gig going. That's basically the plan.
Oh, there we go. Oh, well, thank you for having me on the show.
Well, thanks for being here.
I thought you might have more callers coming in, but anyway, desperate times.
I think not so many this week who know my number. That's been a bit of an issue. So maybe next time we need to work out how to have a toll-free payphone sort of number. Would you like to play the game?
What's the game, Paul?
The game is noughts and crosses. Right, now a grid should be appearing on your screen with a possible delay. Once you see the grid, say grid. Gives an idea of how long the delay is exactly here. It's about a week, I believe. Yeah. There should be a grid appearing on the screen, and
we've passed the peak in this period, and I'm now in the pub.
Okay, is that right? How is it in the future?
I've got a grid.
You've got a grid. Good news. Got a grid. Right.
Yeah. Okay,
so
I've got a grid.
now it's noughts and crosses. So I've got various noughts and various crosses. Where would you like? You can go first because you are the guest. Where would you want to be, noughts or crosses first of all? What do you want to be?
I'll be cross.
You'll be cross. You'll be crosses. Okay.
Your lateness.
Right.
Unacceptable.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I can't work out the lingo here. So where would you like your first cross to be? Pick the square and it will go there.
I'm going to go in the middle, please. Middle.
Everyone loves the middle. There we go.
X marks the spot.
That is going to be just there. Now, how do we make it stay there? I don't quite. Maybe. His bum buns isn't high enough. If I put it on that shelf. Hang on. Just stay there. Just hold the line. Hang on. Right.
Please hold, caller. Your call is important to us.
Right. It's going to be.
Okay.
It's there. Basically, it's there, right? I mean, you can't see it, but the cross is there, right? So now it's my go. So I'm going to be. I'll be. Circles? What are they called? Circles. So for ease, I'm going to go here. There we go. Is that just bum buns? There is going to. There you go. That's this. I'll be honest. This isn't. It's not quite as easy as I thought it was going to be. Just there. I need to sort of balance. Right, hang on. There you go. That'll do. Right. So you've got a cross there, which I'm sure you can see. You've got the nought here. Where do you want to go next for your next cross?
Sorry, where's the nought, Paul?
So can't you see it? It's here. There's the nought. It's right there. There you go.
That's in the middle.
Yeah. So your cross is there. So where do you want the next cross to be?
Okay. I'm going to go top middle, please.
Top middle. I'll just hold it. That'll be easier. And I've got to move now, haven't I? So I've got to put a circle. Hang on. I've borrowed this from the kids. Right. If I put this on the toes, that should be right. That's going to go there. There we go. Right. So you're up there. And where do you want your next one to go?
Just in the winning spot, please.
In the winning spot. Where's that? Well, you've got one there, and I've got a circle there. So you can't win from this. I mean, they're obviously looking at. There are no winners here right now. I think it's quite fair for anyone to see. Where do you want this final cross to go?
So remind me, I'm in the top middle and the middle.
You're
middle,
there,
is that right?
and you're there. That's where the crosses currently are, and I'm here, and it's obvious. A fool could look at this and work out where the noughts and the crosses are. Where do you want this one to go?
This is like the worst game of Twister I've ever played in my life.
It's not Twister, it's noughts and crosses. I mean, it's not obvious, it's noughts and crosses.
If I'm watching you put your feet on the screen in the middle.
Right.
Okay, so I'll go bottom right.
Bottom right, that's over there, isn't it?
That's your
so
bottom
there you
left.
go. So that's, you're up there and you're, hang on, I need another cross. I've got this one. This is a clock, which is a cross. Unfortunately, it's also a nought, which makes it rather confusing. But if I just sort of lean that there, so you've got a cross up there. Oh, hang on, I'm moving the screen now. This isn't. There we go. So I think it's my go. I've got another.
I have no idea.
I'm going to put that one over there. So you've got.
Can you just use like a marker on the screen?
That would be easier, wouldn't it? But that's too easy. What?
A little.
I'll be honest. If you played more strategically, you could have won by now. I don't know what you're playing at.
I can't remember where I am.
Well, you're at the top and in the middle, and then down here where my chin is. So where would you like your next one to be?
Middle bottom.
You're already in the middle bottom. That's no, that's me. I'm here. I'm in the. Oh, look, should we just say that you've won? Should we just? Is that easier? Partly also because I've run out of these. So.
Hey, Paul, we're all winners, mate.
Hey, we're all winners. Mr. Gibson, I wish you well. Thank you for dialing in, and take care. We will see you anon. Past all of this.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Goodbye, Mr. Gibson. Bye-bye. There you go. That was. I think, you know what, walkie-talkies is surprising history. We're going to carry through till next week because that's how it goes. We're out of time. Also, the walkie-talkies are way across the room. But we have got time for the Q&A and the books, right? So firstly, the books. Now, this is quite interesting. I got this. This is one of my... I spoke last week about my current fascination with The Birth of Broadcasting. Now, this is the ultimate book. Asa Briggs, he's the guy who wrote all about the origins of the Beeb. And this is one bit I was reading. He wrote this in about the 50s. It's writing about the 1920s, okay? That's when it all began. And this is one thing I saw this week, and I thought of you good folks. I thought you might like this. You might not, but let's see. One interesting individual profile of an experimenter from the early 1920s who was an amateur wireless telephonist was William Le Queux, the popular novelist. I'm sure you're all familiar with William Le Queux, right? Now, this is the interesting bit, right? It says here, after the war, this is the First World War, ended, he turned to long-distance radio telephony for fun. Along with two other enthusiasts, he set up wireless station ZAZ in Guildford. That's where I am now. This is Guildford, right? He said, I gave up my profession as a novelist. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm a writer of books as well. And, I'm giving that up to be here, I suppose. I gave up my profession as a novelist and devoted my whole time to my laboratory until it became a massive apparatus and a great tangle of wires, not dissimilar to this current studio setup 100 years later. One of his broadcasts of nursery rhymes was picked up in Manchester and another in Aberdeen. At last I had succeeded in establishing a station which transmitted speech and music over long distances on low power. Then I commenced to inaugurate nightly gramophone concerts and talks to amateurs, all of which was greatly appreciated as the first attempt to broadcast, badly modulated and uncertain though it was. How far we've come in 100 years, badly modulated and uncertain. I think that's certainly how I would describe this show tonight. This has technically been a show of sorts. You know what? When we crack the technology next week, we'll make it more of a show, right? I've got some other bits and pieces we'll line up for you next week. But right now, over to the Q&A, the A&Q. Any questions for you? Firstly, I'd like to start the Q&A with asking, next week, Facebook Live or YouTube Live? What do you think we should do? I'm guessing, you know how I'm going to come at this. YouTube Live was on the tricky side, right? Facebook Live, I could see the go button. YouTube Live, less so. But how has your experience been? If anyone here couldn't particularly fathom Facebook Live, but could fathom YouTube Live as a consumer, now is your time to let me know as we plan forward for next Tuesday's Lockdown Live. Because if I'm honest, it's been chaotic tonight. It's meant to be a little tighter than this, and I'm sure we can do that if the technology works for us to begin with. So let me know, Facebook Live versus YouTube Live. And also any questions, right? This is your chance to do so before we say farewell at 9 o'clock tonight. So Kirsty Pugh says, if you subscribe to his page and get all notifications, it will let you know when he's on. That is true. And also on Twitter and Facebook, if you like the Paul Carenza page, facebook.com/paul.carenza, and indeed my Twitter thing, Instagram, I put all the stuff on there. I'm very eager to get the right information out there. So follow those things. And you will find us for next time. Andrew Faraday says stick to Facebook. Andrew W says whichever works. Yeah, fair point. Kirsty is like YouTube. Okay, fair point. Vindy49 says Facebook. Yeah, okay. Ryan Cooper, YouTube Live. I can watch it on the TV. That's what I like. You know what? Maybe we need another go on the YouTube Live. I don't want to be too hasty in dismissing this. Because YouTube Live in theory works pretty well. It's when you don't have the teething problems. So maybe we'll give YouTube Live another go. Andrew said Facebook seemed to start last week, even though it kept freezing. Do you know what? Has the stream been more solid this time? That sounds very medical and too clinical for my liking. But has it been? Last week was quite jittery. Last time was on the Wi-Fi of this house. This time I'm doing it on 4G, right? So maybe that might be a difference, that actually we've got a better phone signal than a Wi-Fi here. Andrew Dodder says, yes, agree, we can watch YouTube on TV. All right, I think we'll try YouTube Live again next week, but with some experimentation to find the go live button more obviously, without you all having to change channels, because that was a bit of a hassle. Finally, any questions, any thoughts, anyone selling anything? Anyone got any messages for the world? Anyone who's listening not in the UK or out far from here? Who's the furthest away? I think James Craig, persevere with YouTube. Don't give up. That's the spirit. That's what's going to get us through. Thank you, the Blitz spirit. Thank you, James. And rock solid on YouTube. Perfect stream. Thank you much indeed, Sarah and Peter Humphrey Cooper. Lovely, lovely. I know it's not Peter Humphrey Cooper because you're the midwife, aren't you? Yes. Jess Gibson, well, you could show a Gremlins clip while waiting to go live. If only I knew how to make those things work. That would be a marvellous thing. Right. Do a practice. Yeah, Kirsty, I did a practice, and yet it's not kind of worked in the same way, because I could do a practice only up so far before you actually have to do it live. Maybe I need to do a go live secretly at 3 o'clock in the morning when no one's actually watching. Who am I kidding? No one watched the first bit here tonight anyway. Sarah McCarthy, you're in Stoke. Marvellous. This is a good hello to Stoke. How are you? Upon Trent, one assumes. That's probably the one, isn't it? Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, thank you for sticking with us tonight. This has been fun but chaotic. And next week it will be more fun and less chaotic. That is my guarantee to you. We will get through those things. Peter Humphrey Cooper, or indeed the Secret Midwife, says, think you should do a demo recipe with all those cookery books. You're right, I could cook them all up, couldn't I? Into rice paper, bash them together and make something out of them. Mark Warburton, Stockport, marvellous. Further from Stoke, just a little bit. So Mark has the record so far. Orpington for Andrew. And yeah. Okay, well, wherever you are, good folks, I wish you a good one. In the words of my ex-girlfriend, I'm going to leave you shortly. Andrew Faraday, would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? I think I'll leave that one with you, Andrew. I think that says more about the question asker than the question answerer, doesn't it really? I think we all know the obvious answer as well, 100 duck-sized horses, because they would be hilarious for 100 horses. They just keep on coming, wouldn't they? I will tell you before I go, that leads into one little true story. I was in America about 12 years ago now. Big road trip, coast to coast to coast. We landed in Washington, D.C. We took off out of there from Washington State due to a planning error. Turns out they're not near each other for two Washingtons. And on the way, we went to Texas State Fair, which is basically like a village fete but bigger. And there was a big sign there. Everyone they want you to part with money all over the place there. It's lots of deep fried latte and deep fried all sorts of things. And every stall there, they want you to part with some money. It's $5 here, $10 there. And we saw one stall with a little trailer, and it said inside here, and it's one of these like magical mystery, you know, those sort of almost like a freak show kind of thing where they try and entice you in. And it said inside here, you will see the world's smallest horse, right? Not duck-sized, no, the world's smallest horse. And I thought, I want to see the world's smallest horse. And obviously we're in Texas. There are horses, 10 a penny there, these giant beasts of a horse. And I paid my money and I went in, and you know what I saw? The world's smallest horse. Firstly, you go up a ramp, up a slope, so that whatever you look down on looks smaller. It was a Shetland pony. That's what it was. Just a little lovely, sweet Shetland. And the Americans were amazed and aghast. They'd never seen a Shetland pony in their lives. They're used to giant Texan horses, whereas me, you can't move for Shetland ponies around here. You know what it's like here in Guildford. Anyway, Deborah Foster in Bristol and Deborah Foster in Yates. That's two different people. No, it's the same person. Kirsty Pugh in the Northeast. I wish you all well. And bless you, have a marvellous week. We're going to come back Tuesday next week, 8 p.m, for a smooth a ride as you can imagine right here on Lockdown Live. Wish you well. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, all that sort of thing. And if you feel like supporting, I feel bad even putting up the whole tip sign because it's been chaos this week. But as a jobbing stand-up, this is my job now, which is pretty terrible to say, isn't it? But if you feel like chucking a tip in, there are the details. Some people said they wanted to tip, but they didn't like PayPal for various reasons. So I've found this thing called coffee.com, which apparently lots of creative people do. It's meant to be like you tip in enough for a coffee, which of course nowadays I can't actually go and buy a coffee. I can make a coffee, but maybe if enough of it gets together, that will buy some money, some things in the supermarket, including instant coffee. So it still works. You don't have to, though. It's there if you so wish. But the main thing I wish you would do is come back next week and find us Twitter, Facebook, all those sorts of things. Or you can also find on my YouTube thing, I did a little 2-minute video this week of jokes that no longer work. And you can have a little look at that if you fancy for a bit of fun. This Saturday coming, I'm doing a thing called the Christian Arts Festival. If you Google Christian Arts Festival, you can find out more about that. I've recorded a special set for them. Also Andy Kind and I think Bob Hartman and Salt Mine Theatre Theatre. There's loads of good stuff there. If you're a churchy person, like artsy stuff, Christian Arts Festival online this weekend. And if you're not, then that's fine too. It's still there. So have a great one. And some of those things, TV review, the secret history of the walkie-talkie, we will get to next time. In the meantime, have a great one. Thank you for watching, and God bless you. Good night, everybody.